Ayla. Welcome to my channel, Beotha Sanda. This video is Disability Path Challenge. Enjoy. Hi everyone, Tuva here. I was browsing through the lovely videos that all the creators put out there, especially the ones on witchcraft. I love to look at what all my fellow practitioners get up to, and came across a lovely lady called Starlight Spell Singer, and she and a colleague of hers called Fiction Lady, and the title is Why Mirade, and that's the name of her channel. They have got together and collaborated and put together a tag, and it is aimed at all those that are practitioners of the magical arts, anybody that is working in the light worker field with a disability, how they cope in an ideal way of getting a community of fellow practitioners with their mindset on what they're doing, but also continuing to live with life-changing disabilities. The idea is to get as many people involved, and the tag is, let's get it right, Disability Path Challenge. So I thought to myself, and as you probably all know, in the past you have seen in many of my videos where either my insulin pump goes off in it and I'm having to stop what I'm doing, or having trouble lighting a candle and things like that, that I do have a disability. Well, I decided I'd like to join in this challenge, and in a way this will spread awareness that there are magical practitioners out there in the world that are actually practicing with a disability. Some are invisible that you cannot see, and others do make themselves known. Guys, you come and you watch my stuff week in and week out, but you don't really know too much about me. So I thought it would be a good idea to introduce myself properly and tell you a little bit about my disability or disabilities. So here we go, and you have to excuse me as it is a big thing to tell the whole community what things that you normally try to hide from them are actually going on in your body and your life. But I am prepared to do this to aid the community and those out there that would love to be practicing but think they're limited because of what's wrong with them, and this is not so. My name is, obviously as you know by my channel, Tuva Norse Witch, but my real name is Tina, and I have had type 1 diabetes since I was 9 years old, and I am now 61. So quite a few years. The problem with type 1 diabetes is that after a long time of having the condition, it will bring on other issues, other complications, things that it's the debilitating part of it. So I have a lot of different conditions attached to that, but I want to make it clear they're not, even though they're separate conditions, they are all coming from that type 1 diabetes. So the first one that I got when I was getting older was nerve damage. So basically most of my body I have pain and I can't move certain limbs for very long. I also have heart disease, and this gives me pain now and again, and I'm on medication for that to stop me having another heart attack. I have kidney damage, I have gallbladder damage, I have where I grow lots of extra bone, and so it has caused scoliosis, it has caused the bone restricting the nerves in my spine, which causes me a lot of pain, and it stops me from walking very far. On top of that, I have ear damage, which is caused through the furring up inside, and it affects not just my hearing, but it's pressure in the head, and so I get a lot of disorientation and sometimes vertigo as well. And then the other thing that I have is that I am partially sighted, and this is due to the diabetes. I have a condition called retinopathy. I am almost blind in my right eye and I've had many surgeries, but in my left eye it was not too bad, but just recently I have had bleeds in the back of the eye, which is what retinopathy is. And even though I've got some sight back, it is limiting me. I do go to work, but the work that I do I picked specifically because it was easy, and it's not hard work, it's not anything too much that I have to do. It's basically transporting people as an escort, so it's easy to be done. And of course the driver I'm with is very accommodating and understanding and knows my problems. A little introduction on who I am. I have been on YouTube since really 2009, but I really didn't take it too seriously till maybe about a year ago, even though it goes back 3 years. Some of the content that I put on I did take off, and I just want it to be about the craft and all aspects to do with that. Getting onto my pagan heathen path, I started as an Alexandrian initiate. I worked my way through to my high priesthood and am now a high priestess. But because of the draw that the Norse tradition had, I felt it wasn't the right path. It was good at the time, and I learnt a tremendous amount. But British traditional witchcraft, even though it taught me a lot, I wasn't being fulfilled within. So I met my beautiful goddess Freya, and she taught me the way, and I am now a Seder practitioner of the Norse tradition. I have Scandinavian blood, which makes me feel like I've come home. And so that's my introduction, pretty long. I always waffle on, and I'm sorry about that, guys. But the idea of this is it's disability awareness. Let's get the page. I'm going to be using my phone to revert back to, because the questions are there, and if you see me going like that, it's because with my eyes I can't see very well. I can see, but not to actually read properly. So basically this is the Disability Path Challenge, and it is open to all those that feel they wish to do this. If you do wish to do this, I would suggest you get in touch or go look at the videos that have been put up by Starlight and Fiction Lady. I will put their links in the description below so you can get in touch with them, and I'm sure they would be really happy to have you on board, because the idea is to set up a community of people who are in the same position, which is brilliant, and I think it's a great idea. So collaborations can be really good, especially if it brings people together, especially if it highlights a thing that's going on in their lives, and it can be very positive. So great. But it was actually the two of these ladies that got together to do this, and I am honoured that they have accepted me to do this. and there's no pressure to make videos. If you want to get involved, you can still use the hashtag, which I will put in the video. You can look at the videos, or you can do a podcast or anything if you don't want to be seen on video. But it's just lovely to be able to do this. So thank you for watching this, because it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I really appreciate that. There is a lot of misconception regarding disability in paganism, and if you want to put down below how it makes you feel, even if you're able-bodied or not got any problems, if you're in a group and there's somebody with you who is disabled, how does that make you feel? Be aware. You can write whatever you like. I will always answer your questions, and I will always be positive. No negativity on my channel. So I suppose we better get into the questions. And as I say, I'm sorry I keep looking away, but I've got to get it into my head, and I can tell you exactly where we're coming from. Right. So this is, as I just said, this is the Disability Path Challenge. And so question number 1 is, what is your disability, illness or condition? Are there any misconceptions regarding your disability? I think because of my memory loss that I get, I think I'll take it a little bit at a time. So what is my disability? Well, I've just really told you, but I think the main aspect is, and I can show you here, I wear a pump which goes into my tummy, which I change. It's like a little cannula, and this is the pump with my medication, which is insulin, and it goes into my body via a little tube, like a catheter tube, and I change that every 3 days to stop it getting infected. So that's that. And I also wear, and I don't know if you can see it under here, yeah, there's a little sensor that I wear in my arm to check my blood sugars. So you just wave your phone under it and it tells you what your blood sugars are. And there's also alarms which make sure it tells you where you are. Too low in sugar level, it will give you a nasty turn, and if you go too high, you also get a nasty turn. So you have to try and balance it out in the middle. So that's one of my disabilities. With my heart, I get a very low, they call it bradycardia, but I had a heart attack when I was 45. So the heart, I get angina pain, so I take tablets to slow my heart down. I get tablets to stop it from getting any worse. I also had a stent put in, which opens up the main blood vessel in the heart to aid the blood flow. So that's the heart. With my bones, I'm on medication and I have injections in my spine. But with walking, I cannot walk very far because of the pain. The kidneys, I'm on drugs for that to stop it progressing. And nerve damage, where they can't do anything about that. There is one drug they could give me, but I don't want to take it because it's a nasty drug and it would just stop me going to work. It would stop me doing anything. So I don't have anything to do with drugs like that. I'd rather work my own way out of dealing with it. I do a lot of meditations and that's the way I deal with it. I don't want to harp on about it and make it all negative, because it isn't all negative. Misconceptions, yeah. People think if you are registered blind or you are legally blind, which I am, that you can't see anything, and that's not true. You can be legally blind and still have some sort of light going in, or like with me, I can see through patches, I can see through fog. That is still classed as legally blind. You don't have to be completely not seeing for that. Other things are diabetes, yeah. Oh, you shouldn't have eaten too much sugar when you was a child. oh, I expect you are, it's because you're a little bit overweight. If you do as they say, like I've seen this article and it says you don't have to be a diabetic, just eat this and you'll be okay. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease. There is nothing that caused it. It is a breakdown of the body and there's nothing I can do about it. If I stop my medication, I just die. Simple as that. Type 2 is different. Type 2, even though it's got the same name, diabetes, it is slightly different. So there's a lot of misconception between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. What else? I'm just thinking. No, I think with pain conditions it's more acceptable, so I think we've covered that one. Number 2, and I often close one eye because it helps me to what challenges or limitations do you have within your path practice that relates to your disability? Believe it or not, guys, yeah, there are a few things with my site. When I'm trying to film a ritual, there's often a panic button in my thing thinking, oh my goodness, what if I can't find the wick on the candle to light it? Or what if I don't see something and I knock it off? Or little things like that which don't mean a lot, but they are. I have been stood there sometimes for ages trying to light a candle because I can't see the wick, and I have to hold the wick with my other finger and hope I don't burn it, burn my finger when I'm lighting it. And same with incense sticks. I just cannot see the end and I have to get it right up close. The times I've singed my hair on the gas oven when I'm trying to light a candle because I can't light it from anything else. And in ritual you don't use a clicker. No, it has to be done the proper way. Well, so we did it in the Alexandrian tradition, and I suppose it's really in here. So yeah, there are limitations in silly ways really. Like if I'm pouring water into something, say I'm doing a spell and I'm filming it and I've got to put water in and I can't see water, so when it goes in I don't know, I go by sound if my ears aren't playing up that day, so I go by sound and I hear when it gets near a certain level and I stop there. So my little pots and things are all deliberately done for sound, if that makes sense. I'm wearing my pump all the time, but at one stage I didn't want it to show, so I would wear ritual clothes that didn't show it, but then I couldn't get to it. So now I don't care. Now I will wear it and people will just have to accept me the way I am. And so I think now I'm more coming out of the cupboard, not the broom cupboard, I'm already out of that one. But yeah, when it comes to disability, sometimes we make ourselves prisoners of it and being embarrassed that we're not like everyone else. No, when you've got craft going on indoors, you can be who you want to be. I would say you just have to find ways round your difficulties, but it's doable. And sometimes when you find something different to everyone else, it's great. So it's very positive. Anyway, let's go on to question 3. What strengths do you feel your disability lends to your path or practice? Strengths would be that we carry on through difficulties, that we don't stop because it's not going right. I think with me, it gives me a problem to solve some days, and other days no. If I can't read something, I get frustrated, but I get all the heavy equipment out, like my magnifying glass, and I go right up to the screen of the computer. It's not getting one on me, let's put it that way. So yeah, I think the strength is that it gives you that edge to push forwards. Beneficially, I don't know. Yes, I would say there is actually, because in the path I'm in now, Seda, Norse tradition, I am a medium inside. I've always been a medium. So I'm on the inner side, so where I can visualise very easily, and I can be in another realm very easily, and I see that as an escape route sometimes, and I see that as a strength, that I've got that ability, and it's more accessible, because I think where my eyes aren't working so well and my ears aren't working so well, it's almost like I've been deprived, so the other part of me is more there, if that makes sense. That helps me in Seda practice, because that's what we are, we're shamanic, and so that's why I feel more at home. So yes, I would say it has benefited me for that. Right, question number 4. Do you feel that the pagan, witchy and other communities are inclusive towards individuals with disabilities? Now, I don't think they are. I think we limit ourselves sometimes, or we evade the question, or we try to be like them so that they'll accept us. And I think sometimes they would still accept us if they knew. Some groups that aren't very accepting of disabilities, but there are a lot of groups that are, and it's just a matter of finding those like-minded people that are accepting. And I don't really think that it is that. I think sometimes we make our own issues on this front. I've never had an issue with this, but I know of other groups that have been a bit like that, so I know it does go on. Go with those that you find are accepting. I think I've answered it all, because it says, have you experienced any form of discrimination? And I can't say I have. No, I haven't really. So question number 5, are your accommodations met in and out of sacred space? With my eyes, obviously, at that time I was still blind in one eye as such, and I couldn't read very well, but I never used to let on. I used to struggle, and that was down to me. That was really down to me. I should have explained more, but I was frightened that they would say, well, we can't have you in circle, and so that was also down to me thinking that that's what would happen, and it probably wouldn't have. So yeah, I think again it was down to myself. In a group, do organisers make accommodations for you during ritual or activities? Do you feel comfortable discussing and accommodations with the organiser? Not really, I didn't. I used to hide it as much as possible, and I think that was also down to me. I think if I'd have explained a lot of the situations, they would have been more accommodating, but I was frightened that I wouldn't be as good as them, and again, trying not to be what I am, and you can't be like that in life. You have to be open, I think. Right, that's that question, because that was 2 parts to that question. 6, do you experience vulnerabilities within your practice? If so, what are they, and how do you overcome them? Vulnerabilities. I don't feel vulnerable in my practice. Not really. I can't say I have ever experienced feeling vulnerable. Not even in group. I was always very confident, I think, and never felt vulnerable because I felt in control. So I think you'd have to feel out of control to feel vulnerable, or it would have to be a really serious situation that you were struggling in. So no, I don't need to overcome them, I'm okay. Right, number 7. How do you see yourself as a magical practitioner or a pagan? How do I see myself? I am me. I don't see it as a separate thing. This is who I am, and I love what I do. I am very proud of my gods and goddesses. I'm very proud of my tradition. I love my connection with spirit and animals and plants, and I just feel I am in the right place. It is me. And magic is for everyone. Magic is there for everyone. If you need to get to know magic, grasp it, take it, love it, learn to be it. Don't think of it as two different things, that there's you and there's magic. No. When you become a practitioner, you are that magic. And it touches wherever it goes. It's brilliant. Okay, number 8, which is, I think, the last question, guys. Do you have any advice for group leaders, new or seasoned, path seekers with disabilities? Yeah, my advice is be open. Be open and explain that there are people with these disabilities that are in groups and that need a little bit of consideration, but not to be talked down to or, given instructions, can you do that? No. But to be accepting and loving and nurturing. That everybody has a problem of some sort in life, not just disabilities. So whereas you may have a disability, and this is aimed at the leaders running a coven or running a group or a function, you have a disability. Don't hide it. It shows that you're vulnerable. Be open. Show that the group is open to people like yourself, but then others may have financial issues, or others might have other issues, relationship problems or whatever. So I try to see it that everybody has, or you try to see it as, that everybody has issues of some sort, and if we all help one another, we can come together in a oneness, and that is my advice. So there's the last question, guys. Fiction Lady Weimerolds channel, and that's the link I'll put below. And also we have Starlight Spellsinger, and I'll put the link to her below. I hope if there's anybody out there watching this, that you decide to join it, because it's going to make a lovely little community of people who have these issues but don't see it as a big issue in their life, that it is not always it's not always a negative thing, that they learn to live with it and they get on with it, and they are practitioners, and they are, when you are doing magic, you are the same as anybody else. And I hope if you're out there watching, you decide to take part in this challenge. And if so, you do make a video, just also tag the others to let them know that you've done it, so we can all watch what you've done and welcome you into the fold. Anyway, guys, I will leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed this disability challenge, and if, as I say, you want to get involved, you are really welcome. Anyway, guys, wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it is, wish you the best ever. Halsa Valang.